And let's begin at MetLife Stadium, where the New York Giants had a simple task: lose twice. How hard can that be? You've lost 10 games in a row. And the Colts had something to play for as the Indianapolis Colts came in needing to make sure with a win they stayed alive in the playoff race. And you blew it! Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. No. The Giants won a game, a meaningless game, an insignificant game. Don't do that. And then took themselves out of the number one pick in the draft. Now, this actually would be far more egregious if there was an overall stud quarterback at the top of this draft that everybody said you got to have, you got to get. And that's not quite the way it's going, obviously. Instead, what you have is a probably take Shore Sanders, probably. But in this case, the Giants messed around and now are tied with 4 teams at the top of the playoff or the draft race. So all with 3 wins: Giants, Patriots, Titans, and the Browns for the moment. If the Dolphins hold on to beat the Browns, you'd have a 4-way tie for the worst record in the conference or worst record in the NFL. And then it would come down to tiebreakers. And so the fact of the matter is the Giants blew it. They no longer control their own destiny for the number one pick in the draft. Why would you do it? And in terms of why would you do it, this has got to be the most ridiculous set of circumstances for the Giants to be coming to the end of this 3-year run with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, because the good of this era happened at the front end. John Mara doesn't want to necessarily have to fire both these guys. Apparently, they're not a package deal either, even though they both came from Buffalo and were both hired at the same time 3 years ago. But instead, you seem to have the deck clear for, all right, the Giants are just collapsing towards the finish line. They're really terrible. You know what? The case can be made. Now you don't have to bring back anybody. You certainly can get rid of Brian Daboll. Maybe you let Joe Shane draft the number one pick overall, get himself a quarterback. But instead, now they win. Drew Lock looks great. Was that a Brian Daboll coaching thing? The team played hard. And Daboll and Shane just have another notch in coming back. And yet, you might not have the number one pick. Oh, how could you? How could you? How could it happen? As one of our favorite drops goes. How could it happen? I would be a little bit less, I would be more really aggravated by this if there was, a surefire franchise quarterback at the top, like a Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, somebody like that, a Joe Burrow. Because there's not, do we know Shador is a sure shot? Do we know that Travis Hunter is a generational player? The Giants would probably take a quarterback there. Is Cam Ward worthy of that pick? So, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but it's still, you control all the chips on the chessboard. That's a mixed metaphor. You control all the pieces on the chessboard if you hold that number one pick, and instead, the Giants doing very Giants-esque things. And there was a touchdown today by Malik Neighbors, and I swear there was boos coming down from the MetLife Stadium crowd. The Giants fans knew, we got to lose this game. We got to lose this game. And instead, here goes Malik Neighbors racing through the Colts defense. And how bad did the Colts defense have to be to let Drew Lock look like that and Malik Neighbors? And the Giants fans rained down boos. What are you doing? What are you doing?